All right, this next hand we're going to talk about, this was a crucial one. Okay, this was a very important pot. It ends up getting pretty bloated, but it all starts with a limp. Starts with a limp. Starts with a limp. Yeah. Oh, boy, freaking memes out of that one.
I know it's not that interesting what Ollie's eating, but once again, and I'll put a pin in it, he absolutely destroyed a Chinese order. And then I kid you not, went chicken burger. He took the bun off but hammered the burger out with the ranch. And then went for the fry onion ring combo, dipping straight in the ketchup pack and washing it down with a shake. I mean, oof. It's just...
I'm a soldier.
Good luck tonight, my friend. We have a Negreanu limp in the hijack.
Thing goes any longer, good luck to you, my friend. This booth ain't that big.
Okay.
Just letting you know.
Man.
Jaeger choosing to limp the ace-jack suited behind Negreanu.
Yeah, interesting. Nice to see the limps and so on. It's cool to see sort of unorthodox approaches at final tables such as this. Nicky P eyeing them up. Goes for limp, 6-5 off.
Orpin decides to find out what's what with King Jack out of the big. Not going to get rid of Negreanu, nor Jaeger.
Have fun, boys.
Nicky P.
I'm having fun just watching.
Steps out.
Right? I don't know where I'm going. Probably in the way somehow.
All right, so we pick up the ace-deuce suited. We've got hearts, and I decide to limp for 12,000 from the hijack. Okay. The unknown player that, you know, again, we started to like really focus in on and try to figure out, he limps as well from the cutoff, and he's got a nice hand himself with the ace-jack of clubs. Notice he didn't raise here, right? He decided to limp. Petrangelo obviously, you know, defends with the 5-6 from the small, and Orpin decides, you know what? Enough of you limpity-lampeters. I'm going to stick it to you. Makes it 5x. He makes it 60,000 straight. I didn't limp the ace-deuce suited to fold to a raise in position. Obviously, out of position, it's much more difficult to play. But the fact that I'm going to have position on Orpin throughout the hand, and, you know, there's a good chance I'm going to have position because, you know, the other player folds. And, you know, I don't mind playing a suited ace in position that deep when, you know, I have the ICM pressure because I'm the chip leader. I'm the man. Who do you think you are? I am. Or was it that guy, the Boulder guy? Who do you think you are? I am.
That's right.
So funny.
Who do you think you are? I am.
So, Orpin raises with the king jack off. We call, as does Jaeger. Okay? Again, prefer playing this hand without him in the pot. But he's there. What are we going to do?
Plenty of interference across these three holdings, and oh boy, ace, deuce, 3.
Oh boy, indeed. Massive spot for Negreanu here. Jaeger, as we can see, top pair in the backdoor club draw. Negreanu with the aces up. Not a whole lot for Orpin aside from the initiative.
204,000 out there, and just 10% from Orpin, the follow-through figure.
Yeah, Orpin seeing what's what.
So's Daniel.
Yeah, absolutely, and let's see how Jaeger proceeds in the face of this limp. Nicky P completes Orpin. A squeeze of sorts, whatever you want to call it, against the limp.
I call.
Goes for the 10% pot. Daniel shooting it up to 125. Jaeger is in, Ali.
He's like, I'm out of here, boys. I can't deal with all that. You got all this money now. You're ready to gamble.
475 in the middle, just
what do
south.
you need? Something good?
Now the flop comes, and it comes with the ace-deuce tray. And notice we do not have backdoor hearts, but we do have aces up. And Orpin, into a pot of 204,000. He's going to do the solver-approved size of 20,000. So why would anyone do that, right? Well, I'll explain it. So part of the thinking behind the $20,000, essentially like a min bet, is it just gets out all the misses, like the complete air misses, right? So, you know, king jack, 10 jack, queen jack type hands or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's not going to get a pair out, I don't think, this size. I don't love it personally. I know this is a thing, believe me. I don't love it. I don't think it works often enough to make it worthwhile. It's going to put you in some really awkward spots against a lot of players who just float here really wide. So I would prefer a more traditional size. But Orpin, you know, this is something that he's worked on and, you know, works for him. And everybody's got to have their own thing, you know. But when he bets us 20,000, I sort of look at it like a check to a certain degree. You know, doesn't really mean anything. Not really. So we got the aces up. Then we're thinking, all right, well, if he does have ace king, let's go. You know what I mean? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So I decide to raise. And sometimes I'm going to flat here. Let, you know, maybe Jagger decide to bluff at it or whatever. But I decide to go with some pretty good size. And I make it 125,000. All right? So Jagger calls. Of course, Orpin completely whiffs. And now he folds. Now we got 474 in this pot. All right?
Orpin's departure
Raise call.
leaves the gentleman heads up.
Very
The
clean
turn.
turn for Daniel here.
Absolutely.
King's no good.
3 straight, boss. 3 straight. Right? Tough spot. Big pot.
Curious to know what, if any, influence over Jaeger's ultimate decision Daniel's speech is having.
Well, Daniel, kind of a master at this, very experienced at sort of talking people in, talking people out. Hard to say. Only the gods know, Ollie.
This is going to take me a minute.
Time bank time.
Well, there is still one more decision left if Jaeger chooses to flat.
10 seconds.
A little bit hard on his sleeve here on the turn. Maybe he's thinking all in or fold.
10 seconds. Time.
I call.
Goes for
Wow,
call,
I didn't
Ollie.
see that coming, bro. We're going to play a big one, looks like.
3-7 jack hunting. Jaeger, that is far from out of this pot.
But with over $1 million out there and sub half SPR,
Turn is a blank, a 7. It really, you know, is the blank of all blanks. He really should never have a 7 here. You know, he could have a 7 though. The other problem here is he could have me beat. He could have 4-5. He could have set of deuces. He could have ace 3. He could have set of 3s. So I'm sort of treading lightly here. Or I'm not really, because I fired 300,000, right? What I'm doing is I'm charging the draw. Also, against this player, I feel like if he has an ace, you know, like ace queen, ace jack, which, again, I didn't think was really in his range. I thought that he was going to be raising these hands. But if he does, you know, I'm going to get some value with my aces up, and I'm going to do some equity denial, too, if he decides to fold. Like, with the pot size being as big as it is, if he folded ace 10 or ace jack here, I wouldn't have been mad at it. Honestly, there's already plenty in there. I don't necessarily need to risk it, because if it does come a 10 or a jack on the river, it's going to be difficult for me to see, and I'm going to lose me a big chunk of change, which I don't want to lose, right? So the 300 is a very big bet, really. You know, it's 2/3 pot, but it's, you know, it's substantial. He calls, all right? Now we're worried, you know? I'm worried about already being beat, and I'm obviously worrying about, you know, what river card might come off.
Huge river coming here, Ollie. Ooh,
unimproved
neighbor
on
to the
the
jack,
end.
but Daniel does hold up. And what a pickup this will be for Mr. Negreanu, my word.
and with ace 3 and ace 7 off the board, one would imagine
All in.
Negreanu clearly taking ace queen out of the conversation as well.
So you don't got the straight. That's what that side means.
Puts Jaeger in.
I thought you had the diamond draw. I guess not.
What a moment here for Jaeger.
10 seconds.
Tournament life hanging in the balance. 450, mind you. If he were to choose to fold here, is still plenty of chips.
Still 30 some odd bigs, Ollie. Indeed it is. Relatively inexperienced player in there against one of the most famous poker players of all time, if not the most. Hard spot with a bluff catcher on TV, you know?
Can he find the fold and live to fight? Palpable pain.
It does get away very nice, sir. Great
Big
pickup
pot.
for
You got
Negreanu.
an ace? Good fold.
Goes at 5, 3.
Good fold. Wow. If you had an ace, it was a good fold. But
You tell me to choose on that one?
yeah, you'll find out now. Like, that's why in this spot, no sense. But if you had an ace, no, honest. Good
I
fold.
did.
I was going to tell you.
Good fold indeed, my friend.
What's that?
Live to fight another day, Ollie.
Good fold.
Like a set of them?
Yeah.
I don't know if that'd be a good fold, but I don't think so. That might be a little too good of a hand.
You know what? You have a set?
No, I didn't say that. Better than an ace, if you can believe it. Limpy, limpy's fun, man. I'm sticking with it. Limpy, limpy, boom. See the flop, let's go. What the heck, why not?
So far, so good.
Limpy, limpy, bringing back limping, like the old 90s games.
And the river card is the queen of clubs. Okay, so he could have ace queen now, but again, I really thought that, ace queen was going to be a hand that he raises with. I might have been wrong. Again, I don't have a full sort of scouting report on the player, but I would assume ace queen raises, so it seems like a blank. Now the question is, and this is where I make a mistake, what do you do here against this player, right? Well, if you're going to choose to value bet, right, what are you targeting, right? You're targeting not aces up, because that beats you. You're targeting just an ace. So with just an ace, do you want to give this guy an opportunity to, like, get off the hook? One of the things that, and this is not the theory, blah, 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 this is poker. One of the thought processes that should have went through my head in this spot was twofold. Number one, I might be value cutting myself, right? So I just might. Like, I might be betting ace deuce, he calls, shows ace three, right? But more importantly, what I should have considered is, this guy's having a blast, right? He doesn't want to go home, okay? When I move him all in, it makes it a lot more difficult for him to make this call because he's gone. So there's an added stress pressure. There's time banks. There's a shot clock. There's also the proposition of you're out of the tournament, right? So what was the better option here? I was being a little greedy and silly and not thinking it through. I should have bet 300 again. Sounds crazy, right? Bet third, he's only got 450, just put it in. I should have bet 300 because with the 300, that allows him mentally to say, you know what? I'm still in the tournament if I call, right? And I got to see this hand. And I beat bluffs and all those types of things, right? Again, that has a dual function, right? Because when he does have me beat, I lose a little bit less. But that's sort of contradictory thought process, right? In the sense of, like, am I value betting or am I not, right? Well, I am. The question is this a $450,000 hand worth of value bet or is this a $300,000 worth of value bet? And it's probably closer to a $300,000 value hand in this spot with the added component, which is the most important part of allowing him to still be part of the tournament, right? Which, yeah, when you factor those two things in, this was a mistake on my part by moving them all in, and he decides to fold the hand. I think if he would have, I really do think if I bet 300,000 that, despite me having 2 million in chips, I probably have about 2.3. But hey, I would say that of the entire tournament, this was, and it's marginal at best, this was like, crazy to say, but this I think was the biggest mistake I made. And I think really the only one that I look back on and go, oh, you know what? There was something there that was available to me that I didn't take. Previous to this, every spot, I was doing exactly what I wanted to do. This one, should have thought about this one a little bit longer, came with the 300 once again, right? Pick up the 300, which is substantial. It's only 30% pot or so, but it's substantial. Should have done that. Didn't. Let him get away with the ace-jack. And we'll never know for sure whether he would have called, but I got a feeling he would have. I think he would have called me with the ace-jack. He did call the flop. He did call the turn. I don't think he was folding the river unless I did what I did to him, which was put them all in. Which, conversely, right, when you think about this concept, right, think about this for future when you do play against players like this, or you feel, emotionally or somehow that they want to be in this tournament really bad. That opens you up to do something else when you're bluffing, right? And that is, rather than just bet 2/3 of their stack, put it all in, and have them think about one more thing, which is, I don't want to leave just yet, but it's time for me to leave. Till next one. Peace. All right, but before I leave, we got one little simple pre-flop hand. I just wanted to throw a few things on, okay? This is where we had the best hand with a couple queens.
Certainly evidence here that I went hard on the poultry earlier.
How you feeling, by the way?
Don't ask.
I mean, again, the full Chinese dinner, then just the chicken sandwich for dessert. King 7 suited for Chewy here in the cutoff.
Robust plumbing at Casa Najad, by the way. Don't worry.
Ace 8 suited for Worry.
On the heels of that exchange with Negreanu, Lichtenberger opening again, and Daniel sort of looking to draw the table's attention to that uptick in activity.
And perhaps he drew the attention to
Yeah,
Mr.
mine,
Worry a
mine,
bit. As we can see, Chewy hasn't been out of line. Look at this, ladies from Negreanu.
It's almost as though Daniel set the stage for himself here, didn't he? Chewy opens.
I know what you mean, Ali.
Worry then wakes up on the button with one that he didn't need to 3-bet but chooses to. And now Negreanu, 2 queens in the small.
Fair enough, Ali. I believe this is the big
Do
for
it.
Negreanu, but indeed.
2-6-5.
No, it is the small, pardon me. Worry on the button.
Couple of
Bottom all
clubs
out.
into the muck, yeah. Chewy
Not a 3-bet.
slides
No,
it.
I didn't 3-bet. 4-bets is different. Yeah.
Just 360 back for Worry. Good chunk of it on request. 150 more. It is difficult to walk away from 115. But one does begin to ask themselves how well the ace-8 suited performs against Negreanu's 4-betting range here, much of which would include the power aces.
Good spot. Oh, he fold, right? I had the best hand.
Time bank and fold.
True story.
I believe you.
4-bet. If I'm not 3-betting, what do you think I had to do with a 4-bet? You know what I'm saying?
It's not that
This was
3-bet talk you talked me
This
into
was
it.
a top 10 Phil Hellmuth hand that I had. It was in the top 10, swear. You know what the top 10 is, right? 7s plus, ace king, ace queen. What else is there?
9-3 suited.
In this hand, LuckyChewy, another well-studied player, goes ahead and raises the blinds of 10 and 15,000. He makes it 35,000 from the cutoff with the king 7 of spades. This is certainly a standard open for him. Not surprised to see it. Eric Worry, he 3-bets from the button with ace 8 of clubs. So who is Eric? Eric is a successful businessman. He loves to play high-stakes poker. He's actually quite good, and he's really like trying to learn and get better and all these kind of things. And he's not like just because he 3-bets doesn't mean it's aces or kings or whatever. He's going to be doing this with a wider group of hands. Now, that's kind of less relevant in the sense of like what we actually have, because with his stack size being what it was, we're in the driver's seat. We've got over 2 million. Listen, if he's got us cold decked with aces or kings, or if we're flipping with ace king, we're going to do it for his stack size, right? Because worst case scenario, if we do, flip with them and lose, we still got 1.5. We're still the chip leader, basically, right? The guy we're worried about, though, is the original raiser, because LuckyChewy now, he's sitting on more like 1 million, right? So that's we got 2, but that's a much more substantial stack to worry about. So I decide the best way to play this is to 4-bet which I don't do very often, right? So do I have a lot of 4-bet bluffs here? Nah. Do I need them? Nah. What for? What for? Oh my God, all you guys that think you need to be balanced in all these spots, forget about it. Throw that shit out of your brain. You don't need to be balanced in these spots. It's totally fine to 4-bet with strong ranges. You don't have to have ace-4 and ace-5 suited and all these things so that people don't know you're bluffing. They can still construct your range of saying it's like jacks plus ace-king, ace-queen suited or something like that, right? That's plenty. You really don't need more. If they have a hand that falls in that range, or like they feel like they're doing fine against your range, they're going to play anyway. You don't have to like add ace-4 suited to get the calls from like, you know, the hands like 10s and jacks and stuff. They're just going to play those hands a lot anyway. Maybe some people fold, but so what? It's a tournament. Anytime someone folds pre-flop, it's not a travesty when they would have called if you were a little more like bluff happy with your 4-bets. Listen, some guys are very effective with this strategy, with all that kind of stuff. All the more power to them. That's not what we're teaching here. Okay? We're not teaching that shit. We're not. Okay? Play cash games. You know, you play against the same, group of people over long point. You need to be balanced in these spots, but forget about it. When I 4-bet the small blind here, I'm actually going to be pretty nutted, in this specific spot. I will have some bluffs, but it's only based off of physical reads, and it's only based on situational stuff where, image and all that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, if I'm 4-betting here, it's going to be a hand like you see before me, which is 2 queens. Now, what does that mean if LuckyChewy jams on us? Well, LuckyChewy knows that we're going to be very, very strong here. So I don't think with his stack size, maybe he will. Maybe he's going to stick to theory all the way and just do it. But I don't think with jacks and 10s he jams. I think with jacks and 10s, he probably just flats, takes a flop, if anything. Or maybe he just folds the jacks or 10s. That's reasonable too, because he's just been 3-bet by a player who, non-professional, you would assume is, I don't know, make assumptions however you want. You've been 3-bet and 4-bet, right? So you have jacks or 10s. That's a very easy, well, for the most part, it's kind of like a pretty standard fold, right? So if LuckyChewy did decide to re-raise all in, their queens shrivel up, don't they? They just shrivel up. It's rare that you can look at situations where it's correct to fold queens. And hey, could LuckyChewy be 5-bet bluffing with ace-4, ace-5 suited? Absolutely. And if he does, oh well, we got bluffed. But we'll take our chances that the majority of the time when he's 5-betting here, he's going to show up with at minimum ace-king. But a lot of the time, it's going to be aces and it's going to be kings. And when that happens, playing a big pot, and we dead. Obviously, against Eric, we've already put in 260, and he's only going to have 200-300 more. That's a slam dunk call. But we make this 4-bet with the dual intent of getting in with Eric, but also leaving ourselves an escape hatch, and we will fold to Chewy's jam if he decided to do it. All right, so that's the end of the day 2 recap, but we're not done. We've got more. We've got day 3 coming up. All right, folks, in the description down below, you will find a link to an IQ test from Hybrid Poker. Highly recommend taking it. The software is unbelievable, very user-friendly. Let me know in the comments down below what you score. I got 74 on the 30. Can you beat it? Let's see.